Welcome back. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, streaming Severance. This time it's episode 8 of season 1. What's for dinner?
What's for dinner, kids?
No, we're going to find out what's for dinner.
Doesn't even make sense. Why are the kids cooking you dinner? You're a shitty dad. Yeah, we are almost to the end of season 1 in preparation of watching season 2. Again, it drops on Apple TV Plus on January 17th. Thank you to all of you who have joined us on this journey. We hope that if you're rewatching like us, it's kind of refreshing good memories. And if you're watching it for the first time, you're welcome. We showed you a badass show. So it's one thing we do here.
You're welcome.
You're laughing, but we did get an email yesterday, or was it a DM? I don't know. But if somebody like, hey, I bought Apple TV for the first time just so I could listen to Severance with you guys. And while listening to Severance, I have gone ahead and watched Shrinking and Silo, and I love it.
Ooh.
So thank you.
Nice.
Good
You're
for
welcome.
them. That's great. You hearing
Steve,
that,
I know
Apple?
you're a big fan of Shrinking, and I'm the only Silo fan here, I think.
I love Shrinking. I haven't started the second season yet, but Shrinking's good, and I really am. I think Eric and I are going to start watching Silo here in the next week or two, because her and I were both like, that looks awesome. Let's do that.
Sarah and I watched the trailer for Silo the other day, and she wants to watch it with me.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Go Sarah. I love Silo.
Andy, I thought you were just going to drop in like, yeah, we've also seen the trailer for Silo.
Just stop it there. They're gearing up for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Slowly but surely.
It's like bringing a third in. You can't just jump in. You got to talk to them for a while first.
Yeah.
See how the vibe fits.
Yeah. We like your vibe, Silo.
Yeah, we'll do them later.
So that's awesome. You can go to patreon.com/streamingthings to get ad-free versions of each of these episodes. You can also join our Discord at the $10 tier and above. It seems like a lot of money, but that community is thriving and wonderful. They do all kinds of trivia games and not daily, but almost daily games. They do watch parties and fly all over the world and hang out with each other because they're good friends now. That's how cool it is in the Discord. I'm just saying.
It's awesome in there.
If you like friends, if you like community and camaraderie, which comes from the Latin camera,
a device used to take photographs.
That's right, Steve. Thank you. Then you would love that. But yeah, lots of good stuff over there. And also, reminder at the top of the show, we're doing a Severance season 1 mailbag, supposedly. So you can email streamingthingspod@gmail.com and submit your thoughts or questions to be a part of the mailbag. We might read your email on air.
Get those in soon, though, because as you're listening to this, it's probably Friday when this episode comes out. And we will be recording the mailbag the Sunday after this releases. So be sure if you want to write in soon.
That's right. Also, we should have said this a week ago. Include where you're writing from and whether or not we're allowed to say your name.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And where you work and your mistress.
If there's
Otherwise, we'll make it up.
Also, if you can include your social security number and several credit card numbers, that would be ideal as well.
Why do you need multiple?
For safety reasons. What if one doesn't work out?
That's true. Yeah. We can't have our purchases come back at us.
What?
For safety.
We're going to make sure no one's gotten them. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Also, just one last time, we've warned you the last couple episodes, but we do record all of these in one chunk every Sunday, and we are remote again. This is hopefully the last time we are remote. There's a snowstorm happening in our area. We figured it would be safe to record remotely. So if there's a difference in the audio quality or the video quality, that is why. We apologize for that. Hopefully it sounds great. I'm sure it does. But that is why there is a difference. This week, we don't normally look and sound like this. So hopefully next week we'll return to normal.
Oh, this is our third one. We should have looked all haggard like some Children of Men post-apocalypse shit. You know,
just start freezing.
It's day 6.
Have a fire built. I'm just trying to stay warm.
I haven't had milk or eggs for 2 days.
I ran out of toilet paper an hour ago.
Jack Frost needs a new dandruff shampoo. So far, it just looks really pretty outside, and all Andy and I did was prevent ourselves from having a really good time in the snow.
I like sliding around. It's fun. As long as there aren't other cars out there, it's a good time.
Well, I used to go to your house when we were kids, and we'd snowboard in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they haven't treated the street I live on. Like, I was looking out there, and it just, you can't even see tire tracks. It's just straight up snow. It's nuts.
All right, episode 8. What's for dinner? What we're going to do, as you guys know, we're going to talk about our overall thoughts on this episode, and then we're going to do a scene-by-scene, play-by-play, full recap, get into the weeds on that, boys and girls. And then we'll do a few fun segments at the end, including our Kier's 3 mandates, our top 3 favorite moments of the episode. And then what we're going to do is talk about our Waffle Party recipients. We're going to nominate each of our favorite performances of episode 8. It's a huge deal to the actors. They write in every time. Oh my God, thank you so much for the Waffle Party kit. I'm like, Zach Cherry, no big deal, buddy. I got you, Nux, and move on. Britt Lauer, she'll call me late at night. I usually put it on silent and just ignore it because it's getting uncomfortable at this point.
Christopher Walken keeps calling me and threatening, like, why won't you give it to me? I want one.
Steve, I'm giving it all I've got.
You're going about this Waffle Party all wrong.
Do it again. Yeah, exactly. Something like that. You know the deal, baby. So that's what we're going to do. Andy, I'm so curious. What did you think overall, in general, about episode 8?
I think this episode's great. I think it is one giant cock tease, but the best kind of cock tease. Like, it's straight up edging. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just a lot of like setting up for what we're going to get in the finale. But we get some really great moments, really great romantic moments, especially. I think that this episode fucks, as the kids say.
Oh, yeah. What's for dinner fucks?
It's tits.
Yeah, this episode's awesome, but it's setting us up. You know, we busted out the T-ball, and we're going to knock it out of the field.
Oh, T-ball reference.
I love it.
Not typically the sports metaphor that we get, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, this is another great episode by the team. I mean, to your point, Andy, if you're watching this, how do you not click next episode when that little icon pops up on the streaming service? Like, how do you not just, well, I was planning on getting up for work early in the morning, but I'm calling in sick. I got to know what's happening to the Severance crew. Got to see what happens.
Is this your way of telling us you've already watched the finale illegally?
Steven.
Well, technically, we've all watched the finale illegally, technically.
You mean 3 years ago?
I have no memory of this.
Yeah.
We don't actually know.
I'm actually rewatching the show, these episodes for a third time, because I went and binged the whole episode when we started doing episode 1. And I'm just rewatching them for notes for a third time. You mean
the whole season?
Or the whole season, yeah, the whole season, yeah.
Steven.
Yeah. I knew what was happening.
Salacious news.
No wonder he remembered everything, Andy.
Yeah, no shit.
I remembered it beforehand, too. I'm a smart guy.
Liar.
I'm a smart guy. I also know what goats are.
That's why you have more rewards than the rest of us. Steve has 3 times the finger traps for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I have an embarrassment of riches in my desk.
I have a finger trap right here for you, Steven.
Ooh, what's that?
It's his butthole.
It looks like you're holding a butthole.
That's a prolapsed butthole that he's playing with.
Yeah. What is that?
Oh, for audio listeners, I apologize for Andy's uncouthness because that's so strange out of context. This is like a jelly popcorn thing. It's got little balls in it.
It looks disgusting. It does look like a prolapse butthole. I agree with Andy on that one. It's hideous looking. I don't like it.
No, it doesn't. It's a cute little popcorn boy.
Oh, when you have it facing that way, sure, but you've been facing yellow side first at us this whole time. So it looks like yellow pus surrounded by a red ring. All right.
How many of those things have you guys seen?
Audio listeners, I'm so sorry. This is video listeners. I'm so sorry. This is disgusting. But no, this is an amazing episode. You really want to know what happens next. But the cool thing, my favorite thing about this episode is we finally get to see the first look at outie Irving. And
I thought you were going to say the Waffle Party.
Well, that, of course, we get to see the titular Waffle Party, of course, make an appearance here. But But outie Irving is so incredible because he's not at all what you would expect because we know what innie Irving is like. So outie Irving is just like, wait a minute, that's not what I would have expected. But also I'm so confused about like what he's doing. And the fact that they tie him to Miss Casey's storyline immediately is just really fascinating. And I'm excited to see where that develops. But then we get to see Cobel being thrown on a loop. Her character is going to go through some massive changes this episode, and kind of seeing her unravel and just freak out and lose her shit is a really fun mess to behold. And yeah, like to Andy's point, there's some romance that happens that's quite nice and adorable to see. It's just, if the last couple episodes, like each episode I've been like, oh, the team's finally working together. Okay, the team's finally going to do a rebellion together. This is the episode where the team is finally a family together, right? So it's just nice to see these characters come so far, and now they're like ride or die, MDR. Let's go. Let's take this place down. Really another fun episode. Knocked it out of the park again. Kit, what did you think about this episode?
I love this shit, you guys. I think it's so good. If I was going to use an obscure playground sport like Andy did, I'd have to go Foursquare, perhaps. And it's just like, I don't remember how to play that, but we kept the ball in. You know what I mean?
It was four people working together.
Yeah.
I think they were working against each other.
Does anyone actually know how to play hopscotch? I would have went there, but I was like, Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I never knew the rules.
We got one of those. Up the rock, right?
We got one of those giant parachutes, and we're all underneath it. This is so good. There's so much good tea here. Like there's a telenovela melodrama to this. For instance, I love the idea that Mark is falling in love with Helly. And again, I don't remember what happens in the finale. I obviously don't know what happens in season 2. So this is all just my conjecture. You can believe me or not, doesn't matter. I think it's a wonderful tease to imagine that they do successfully get out of this somehow. They reintegrate their brains. Mark finds out his wife is alive, but also part of him is in love with this other woman now through no fault of his own, because Annie's been living an entirely different life. There's probably going to be some drama there. And I think that that's wonderful. There's this idea that a lot of the employees probably work for Lumen. At least that's where my head is going. Because it seems like Helly is such a, outie Helly is such a bitch to her inner Helly because she's part of that somehow. I think we see a glimpse of her at the gala tonight. I don't remember who she is, but she appears to be someone in Lumen.
She's the only one we don't really see any sort of, storyline, like, because they're all kind of waking up at the end of the episode, but we don't really see what Helly's doing until that one little shot you see briefly. So what's up with that?
Well, to your point with Irving, painting those paintings of like this super severed floor that we only see Miss Casey going into, which is like the Westworld barn kind of, where they're all just like sitting there, I'm imagining, until they wake up. So why would he know what that is unless maybe he's somebody high up in Lumen or something like this? So it's like we get all these indications. Other than Zach and Mark, we haven't really seen anybody kind of be normal. And we don't get much of that, which is maybe why Cobel is so fascinated with Mark, because he's like a normie that they got roped in and put in there or something. Well, Petey was normal too. I don't fucking know. It's just, it's a big mystery.
I really want to know what's going on with him knowing about the elevator as well. Because it's like, at first I thought it was a key card thing, and then eventually we see the elevator, and I'm like, oh, it was the elevator.
I thought it was the break room when I first saw it.
Did you?
Until you see Miss Casey go there later, and I had to go back and change my notes so I didn't seem stupid, but then I just told myself so.
Yeah, so
I appreciate your honesty.
Where does that elevator go?
The testing department.
It goes even downer, dude. Even lower.
Downer.
Even downer. Yeah, that little red light is pointing down. They're going downer.
Well, you know how like a hospital has an elevator and it's like, this goes from 3 to 6, but then you got to go like half a mile down the hall to the other set of elevators if you want to go up to 12. Oh, you know, it's just one of those, like they're at the lowest one, but only for that shaft. There's shafts that go a lot deeper. You just got to find them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a fantastic episode. I mean, we get the fucking Waffle Party. We get Patricia Arquette going balls to the wall. I was a little surprised you guys gave her the PR.
The WP?
The WP.
The WPR award. because I think she goes harder in this episode.
She definitely goes harder in this episode.
But yeah, there's so much good stuff here, but it's all the things that might happen in season 2 that has me so excited about what occurs in this episode. Mm-hmm. And also because I don't remember what the finale is at all. This could easily be the season finale to me.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, it could be. It'd be quite a cliffhanger. Like, hey, they're going out in the world. See you in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know the strike was going to happen. That was just unfortunate that it took 3 years to make the next season. But yeah, I think we're ready to get into the meat and get into it raw. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do the full recap. But before we do that, let's hear a brief word from one of our sponsors.
This one.
This episode of Streaming Things is sponsored by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
You know, Steve, there's something I need to get off my chest.
What's that, fella?
It's been weighing on me. You know that I resigned at the day job recently, right? And I've been a little scared. There's a family to worry about. There's health insurance. There's capitalism.
Sounds like a stressful time.
But we all carry around different stressors, big and small. And it feels better when you bring something to the light. We keep them bottled up. It can start to affect us negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. In my case, it's all of the stress, the misery, the fear. But I had to come over here and share that with you, and I felt better. You know, that's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Unloading all that on you and Erica and feeling better myself.
That sounds like my Friday night.
Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you're not vibing, that's completely fine. So get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/streamingthings to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/streamingthings.
We are back. It's time for the full recap. But first, let's see what Apple TV Plus has to say about what goes down in this episode.
I can't wait.
It's always a fun journey. They describe this episode thusly. The team prepares a plan. Mark attends Devin and Rickon's party.
Ooh, we got 2 sentences this week.
I was like, oh, shit. I would have killed for it to just say, the team prepares a plan.
And then just Mark attends a party, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you whose party it is. He just attends a party.
Mark likes to party.
That the fact that they say Devin and Rickon, that's amount of specificity in these episode descriptions that we're not used to.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, they don't want you to get confused because there's a lot of parties in this episode.
That's true.
Like Mark went to the Waffle Party?
Mark and Dylan both attend parties.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, and this is out of context completely, but last episode, a couple of days ago, I said, hey guys, I know who was flipping those switches, even though Grainer, Milchek, and Harmony were accounted for, and whoever. It's 2 of the strippers, obviously, from the Waffle Party. that he had to have flipped those. I mean, who else? We've never seen another employee. That's all we've got.
I wish that Milchek was one of the strippers.
Oh,
Yeah.
He would have crushed it if he was one of the strippers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. At those moves, he would have like hit you with the swan dance.
They're all wearing masks except for him. And it's just Milchek, Tremel, what was his name?
Tremel Tillman? Yeah, Tremel Tillman.
Tremel Tillman.
Just like, his serious face doing the fucking striptease, you know what I'm saying?
Well, he'd have a mask on.
Yeah, I'm saying everybody has a mask except for him.
Oh, he doesn't even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Dylan G. Are you ready for your waffle party?
Do you like to party?
He has the lights on in the founder's room. I had these installed. So the episode starts with Outie Irving. It's the first time we get to see Outie Irving. He's chilling on a bench with his dog, reading. I didn't catch what he was reading.
Did you catch what his dog's name was?
No.
Radar.
Oh, Radar.
He enjoys the sound of radar.
Yeah, that's his dog. What?
Isn't that good?
You're seeing my mind blown in real time. That's incredible.
Isn't that so good?
I did like, though, that's why he loves the O&D art so much and bonds with Bert in that way, because he's a painter in real
I
life.
didn't put that together. That's good.
That's why he loves the paintings in the office so much. He's a painter. And I love that idea that even though they're severed and they don't have those memories, you're still you, right? So like I would still just be an asshole, but not know why. I would still enjoy puns to a strange degree.
And not
you know,
why.
Annie Steve would be down there making little puppets out of the office supplies and be like, I don't know why I do this.
Why are you doing the puppets all the time, man? That's weird.
Why do you mimic everyone's accents and make puppets?
And it's really cool because he's painting like these really thick black, canvas. Like he's just painting the same thing of the elevator that leads downer. But that's why he's always seeing the goo, and he's got that black stuff under his fingernails at work. It's because he's painting all that shit all the time. And so he sees the paint seeping into his consciousness on the severed floor. Isn't it so good?
Wow.
Kids realizing all of this in real time. I love it.
I didn't put that together, that's the goo, the paint.
Yeah.
How many times do you think he's painted that same painting?
I mean, you can see a good 15 of them in there.
Oh
Something
yeah,
crazy.
At least that's how he goes home. He takes Radar out for a walk. He makes some coffee, throws on some Motorhead, and it's Paint City, baby.
Nietzsche.
What was that? Read some Nietzsche.
Yeah, something.
That's why Irv is so drowsy all the time. It's because fucking his outie keeps chugging coffee and staying up until 3 a.m. listening to Motorhead and Paint.
I did not predict that was going to be Motorhead, even having seen it before. You know what I mean? Because he puts like a tape in, and you think it's going to be like the ace of spades, the ace of spades. Trick question. Lemmy is God. Didn't expect that. Yeah, but it's paintings of the dark elevator. Man, he's having a good old time down there. So there's a little bit of recollection amongst the severed. It's been confirmed. Then we get a sequence of all 4 MDRs transitioning to their innies at once. It's the first one of those that we get.
It's cool because they take them from like different perspectives too. Like,
I love your sound effect.
Ooh, that's making me feel things. But I love how Helly and Mark are looking straight on, and then Dylan and Irving are profiled like opposite ways. It's kind of a neat way to film them.
Yeah, it's like a superhero thing. Like
the Avengers are assembling.
Up.
MDR assemble.
MDR. Helly is crushing it on the Sienna file. They want her to finish. It's a part of the plan that she gets done. We don't quite know why when we first see this part of the episode. And they're stressing about it. Irv and Dylan are over there in the break room. Not the break room, but the coffee room. And they've both been done a week. And we can assume Mark's been done a while too. And is she going to finish on time?
Mark, don't laugh, but do you think it would help if we stood behind her and chanted her name?
Let's just let her focus, okay? It's because she's going to finish.
Helly.
That would definitely not help me.
There's
maybe.
There's something I was putting together. This episode was big for me personally in putting together what I think is a little bit of a mystery. And that has to do a little bit with the numbers, but more the 4 temperances of Kier. And I'll get into that more in the Waffle Party. But if you guys want to read some stuff, listener, there is a companion book that you can read for the first season. It came out at the same time as the season. It's free on Apple Books, so you can download it for free. It's I think it's 43 pages, but most of that is just
fuck that.
Most of it is a scanned handbook for how to do the numbers. Like you would give this to Helly would have gotten this handbook to know how to MDR the numbers, right? But before that is a note from another MDR person in a different part of the country, I think, who is trying to tell the press about what's going on. But it's called the Lexington Letter. And it's interesting. It's from the point of view of a Peg, but her innie is called Peggy K, and how they were able to her and her innie were able to communicate to one another. And she has a theory of what the numbers are, and it's worth a fascinating read. I'll go more into it when we do the mailbag episode, but definitely check that out if you're interested. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the 4 temperances thing when we get to the Waffle Party.
We cut to Milchek and Cobel, and they are also nervous about whether or not Helly is going to make it, though for different reasons entirely. I also love that we get to see, maybe we've seen it before, but I don't recall, that there's a camera in the computer itself. So they're looking right on at Helly as she's working there.
I think we saw that in the computers for the wellness center, but this is the first time I think we've seen they can actually access their computers at their workstation.
Which is interesting because they would have seen Mark playing with the map.
Yeah, they would have seen like so many things.
Well, if they pulled it up, I mean,
If they were looking, yeah.
it seems like there's only 3 managers that run this whole entire building. So
Yeah.
I don't know how Milchek does it. That guy's like all over the place.
Can't be everywhere at once. That's what
Right.
they say. And then Cobel says that she believes that Helly's going to make it. It's going to be fine. And she wants to schedule another wellness session for Mark. And Seth, again, kind of pushes back on that, but just in like a really kind of way. And she has historically been really upset whenever he pushes back at her like that. But this time she does a different tactic. She's just like insidiously supportive of him.
Yeah.
You've been doing such a good job, Seth. I forget what she says, but
Mr. Grainer sits with Kier now, and I think they're both very satisfied with your work.
you've availed yourself well. But like he's clearly scared of her.
Yeah.
And we don't know why, but I love that touch.
But wouldn't you be scared of her?
Yes.
More turned on. But
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In like an exciting way, I would, yeah. Like, oh, take me to the break room.
Yeah, when she starts singing that song, Andy's like, I have the weirdest boner right now.
Yeah.
Not my proudest fap.
Sometimes you just got to get the demons out. Am I right?
I've got that verve.
We've gone full Reddit on this podcast, I feel like. We cut to Helly working. She finishes. She successfully goes to 100% on the Sienna file. And we get that hilarious little Kier animation. Now I must away, for I'm needed in other parts of the world.
Helly,
I knew you could do it, Helly R.
I love you.
I love how it stammers too. It's like, I love you.
Yeah, why is it nervous to say it?
I must away. And then he flies away.
It's also a nice little touch that I think Helly is just mostly happy that she finished and they can enact their plan. But there's a little part of her that's like, thanks, Kier.
Yeah.
This feels good. You know what I mean?
Thanks,
He's like,
Kier,
when he
Daddy.
says, I love you, she's like, does like a, what? Kind of, but also like, I don't hate it kind of thing. I don't know. It's just nice.
And then Dylan's like, boom, that's quota.
And then Mark is laughing with Cobel in her office. She is so tickled that he actually got the department to quota. She won't stop laughing.
I love how uncomfortably long they laugh before they start talking about anything. Like, you can tell Mark's like, okay, what are we doing? He's like, oh.
I like to imagine she had just told
awful.
the breast milk story again.
Yeah.
It's like a fire hose.
And he's like, without context, this is really weird.
You breastfeed bababies?
Yeah, he does.
What are babies?
What comes out of there?
Order bait.
Like the goats? He nominates Dylan to receive the Waffle Party. And she's like, you know, Mark, you can choose yourself or anyone but Dylan. Like, the Waffle Parties are really kind of his thing. Which once we find out what they are is so funny.
Yeah.
Compared to how horny he usually is and stuff. You know what I mean? But then she tells him she'd like him to drop by wellness.
Yeah. Yeah. Drop by wellness.
We cut to Miss Casey, who in the wellness session says that she's retiring, which means that she's going to die in their world. And she had just been told that a few seconds before she walked in the room. It's almost like Cobel wanted that to be a part of the session to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And they're going to get a new wellness director. And she kind of breaks character and gets really human for a second. She's like, I really liked being in the office with you all that day. I know I vexed you. I'm strange. And then she keeps going and says that was kind of my favorite time ever. It's the longest I've ever been awake, that 8 hours. It's usually, think about it, like her life has been lived in like half-hour segments. And that's it. That's all she knows.
The combined amount of time she's been awake or alive is roughly 4 days. Because she says like 107 hours is how long she's been awake. And like you said, most of that is the half-hour-long sessions. So like...
She says it's her good old days.
Yeah, in a way, that was my good old days.
Yeah.
And this is where I got the weird, I don't think she's actually turned on by this. It's not my actual read, but just the way that Patricia Arquette plays it is like this weird, giddy excitement as she's watching the footage of this wellness session. She's, it's taboo for her. You know, she I don't know what's going on. I don't know, but it's very interesting.
She's like the insert for the audience. We're all leaning in with getting the exact same experience she is. Like, oh my God, do they know?
Do they know?
How are they going to react?
Yeah, at one point she asks Mark why she cares what happens to her, and he's like, because we're people, not parts of people. These are our lives, and no one gets to just turn you off. Mm-hmm. And like,
but again, Cobel should be like, oh no, right? Like you're rebelling against the system. But throughout the whole season, her character has always somewhat encouraged this, specifically in Mark.
Yeah.
Because later on in this episode, when he tells her she's quitting, the outies do. She's like, you should leave, Mark. You know, it's just, where the fuck is she coming from with this? We don't know.
Just an agent of chaos, man. I love it.
Maybe. But Milchick's with her watching this as well, but off to the side. And he kind of senses her excitement at what's going on right now. And he goes, you know, it's good that they don't remember each other. The chips work. It's a win. And she gets mad at that. Take her back to the testing floor, please.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like...
Oh, so that's where the elevator goes, the testing floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
but we don't know what that means.
He doesn't seem too enthusiastic about having to take her to the testing floor. Also, I really... Because eventually Miss Casey starts going back into the, your outie is nice, you know, that whole thing. I really hope that in a future episode, Mark is going to be out of Severance somewhere, and he will be able to know a beautiful rock from a plain one. Like, he'll look at a rock and be like, oh, that's a plain rock, but that one, gorgeous. Just because that was one of the most random, like, your outie knows a beautiful rock from a plain one. What?
Your outie loves the sound of radar. Oh, that's so good.
Guys.
The right one. My right.
This is a creativity rock, and this is just a geode.
You always go for the geodes.
Neither of those are plain. That was a trick question.
Exactly.
Steve failed.
Well, my outie doesn't know that stuff.
Clearly.
My outie microwaves pizza rolls in the microwave.
And your Annie would go, ugh.
Don't you have an air fryer?
And now Miss Casey is back in the black hallway heading to the elevator that eventually has the red light on it. So that is the painting that Irving was doing. And there's the whole kind of the same bits that whenever Milchick escorts somebody anywhere, you know, go on now.
On you go.
On you go. I don't have to.
I'm kind of busy today. Much to do today.
Oh, it's so awkward.
It's so sad for her because she's under the impression that she gets to go up, you know, up top. She has an outie because she's like, do you know if I'm happy up there? And he's like, yeah, you do all sorts of wonderful, nice things. Like, oh, but I have so much to do today. Go on you go. Leave me alone.
She just goes to oblivion, I assume.
Yeah.
Off mode. Then Mark returns to their office. He tells them about Miss Casey being retired and that Dylan has successfully been nominated for the Waffle Party. So the plan's a go, but a little hiccup about Miss Casey, right? Can we do anything to help her? And, I don't know. But then they get the pre-Waffle Party egg bar social,
what?
Which is another gift for Dylan, right? A man whose mind is as sharp as his incisors. He's given a box. Apparently he requested this. We find out at the end of the episode that the gift he requested was the desk block thing that's similar to what Mark has, but instead of himself, it's all four of them.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
It's cute as hell, but I love when Irving and everybody sees it, but the audience doesn't. They're like, nice.
There's great stuff happening here with Milchick specifically because they're all, you know, conspiring in the beginning of the scene, and he shows up and he's like, hey, I got the pre-Waffle Party egg bar social ready. And Dylan, they all kind of like switch on this. They turn around like, yay, that's so fun. And Dylan's is like, pay dirt. Yeah. It's like so unconvincing. But then when they all get super like emotional that Dylan chose to get that cube of all of them, and they're all like, hey, buddy, we love you. Milchick's like, let's change the vibe in here, guys. Lame.
And then we get this sad-ass egg party with the disco lights, but apparently the eggs are actually delicious.
They look fire.
The egg bar is coveted as fuck, kid. Okay, come on.
That's true.
It's coveted as fuck.
Do you think there's like what are those deviled eggs?
Oh yeah,
I love deviled eggs.
Those are some slutty deviled eggs. Too.
Oh yeah,
they had like different colored yolks and shit. Like,
yeah, well that's like the different levels of paprika and stuff.
Yeah, they used some paprika in there.
Did they have like a pickled egg too? They had like normal deviled eggs, but then they had like redder ones. Did you see those? I was trying to figure out what those were exactly.
It's the paprika, Steven.
The red is the paprika.
Like, but it's in the egg white, so it makes it red.
You like whip the egg yolk, or you're saying the white is red?
The exterior was red. There were things so they had the regular deviled eggs, but then there were red ones as well. But I couldn't figure out what
Those
they
are
were.
the goat eggs.
It's probably just food coloring, like Easter style.
Yeah, because I know there was a deviled egg recipe I was going to try at one point that used like beets to make the white part red, and then you made the deviled stuff green, so it looked like a green-red deviled egg. It was kind of cool looking.
Beets.
Another Doug reference.
Fuck yeah.
The beets.
Ooh. Killer tofu.
Every time Andy said paprika, I thought of Blue's Clues, because you remember how Salt and Pepper were characters and their child was paprika?
Yeah. Well, sweet little thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sweet little thing.
Yeah. But Milchick's going around taking pictures of the party like he always does. And then Helly goes up to Dylan and offers yet again to be the one to stay behind. And he says no. Because throughout this, he's been steadfast. Like, I already got a glimpse of my house. You know what I mean? You guys deserve this. I can do it. So he's really taking one for the team.
Yeah.
Dylan's a real one. Once we see him do it, the combination of the Waffle Party and then what he actually has to do in the security room, I think only Dylan could have pulled that off.
Yeah. He's got enough. He's spry enough and smart enough to like do that kind of stuff. I think Irving would have just like abandoned ship and looked for Bird immediately. Mm-hmm.
He would have been clapping that goat head dude's cheeks. Can't hold it back anymore.
Oh dear.
And dabbed with a hanky. We cut to Natalie, the corporate lady, who now has evidence of Helly R's suicide. And then Cobel says, "Did Milchick give you those?" And she does not answer. Do we think that Milchick did give her those?
He had to have, because Milchick is the one taking the photos down there. And so he was the one that, I imagine he's the one giving the photos, and they've kind of shown that he's doing his own thing separate of her, and he's disagreeing with some of the things she's been doing. So I feel like he's trying to usurp her for sure.
Man, I didn't get that vibe at all. I assumed that Natalie did that of her own volition because Miss Cobel gave her such stank in the last episode where she's like, "No intermediaries."
Well, where would Natalie have gotten the photos from?
They didn't look like actual photos. They look like stills from security footage.
Yeah, we saw.
I thought they were like processed photographs.
When would Milchick have taken a photo of Helly dangling by herself?
I love the idea of that.
Mark's the one that found her.
That's true. Or maybe it's one of the two people that help Milchick out that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I think there's a secret third option. I didn't think that Natalie was acting alone. I think she was just very smugly happy that Harmony was experiencing a downfall. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's too obvious that Milchick's the one that did it.
Well, he seems surprised later when he's like, "Oh, there's a management issue that requires my attention." Like,
I don't think he's sad about Harmony leaving, nor do I think Natalie is. But I don't think either one of them acted alone on the snitching. It's going to end up being like Irving, outie was awake the whole time or something. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be some bigger shock than those two things, I think.
Nice. They
also know that she's been spending time with Mark Scout's sister, which is highly inappropriate, right? So they suspend her, which apparently means she's fired.
She says you're suspended effective immediately. You're fired.
Yeah, I was like, so wait, which one is it?
They just had to go down the checklist. They just accelerated the process.
Give me your badge and gun immediately.
Fuck off, Natalie.
Is the board even there? And we finally hear the board's voice, or one of them.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Been here the whole time.
How's the severed floor doing?
And then she's like, "Okay, guys, look, we'll talk about it at the gala tonight. I'll explain everything." And then Natalie says, "The board has concluded the call." Ooh, it's so much stank. So much stank. We cut to Irving briefly, who's looking at the artwork. We know he loves paintings. This is where that revelation came for me. But he's also like reading some Kier shit. Like they've got the like little, do you remember those encyclopedias they had when we were kids? That was like one letter for each thing.
Yeah.
And it was really expensive to have the whole set.
Encyclopedia Britannica?
Yeah, like before the internet, you'd like, "Oh, let me look up lions, L." Really? They do that?
Big cat. Oh.
And then he slams his egg in the book, which is so disrespectful to Kier. So I think that's, evocative of his newfound distaste for all this bullshit, right?
Yeah, and he knows that the compliance is by heart because he goes directly to a page he wants to quote, and without even looking at it, he just reads the entire thing like something along no higher purpose may be found than this, nor any higher love, meaning like all of your affection should go to me, Kier Egan. And
he's like, bullshit.
Fuck you, yeah.
Bullshit. I love Bert.
And then we cut to Helly, who's in the coffee room, and she does the goats lay eggs joke to Mark, right? And, this is where they really bond. He's like, God, I'm really attracted to you. That's a good joke. And she asks if he's scared about tonight, and he says, yeah, I'm scared of getting caught.
Scared we won't wake up again.
Yeah. And she tells him, thank you for pretending to care about me. Because he's like, I hope our outies, once we find out what's going on there, that we have people we care about. And she says, thanks for pretending to care about me. And he's like, well, you're easy to pretend to care about.
Oh, it's so sweet.
You got cake. And she's like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know. It just felt right to say. I guess it's an outie thing. At that moment, Milchek says, egg party over. I've got something I got to go see about a management issue.
I'll leave the food.
Harmony being fired. And then Dylan, I'm going to be back to escort you to Perpetuity later. Perpetuity Wing is where the Waffle Party is. That's where shit goes down. Cobel is being escorted out with her little box of stuff, classic corporate move. And he does the thing that he does to all the innies. On you go then.
On you go then.
It's his cold response to everything.
But he seems like, I think, was it last episode I said Cobel has that energy of like a dog that you don't know is going to attack you or not. Mm-hmm. He's acting like she might claw my face out at any second right now.
He's already been bitten. So he's like, oh my God, not again.
I didn't get that vibe, but I thought there was some regret in his look. Like, what do I do without you kind of look. That's the way I took it.
There might have been a tinge of that, but I don't think he approves of any of her recent decisions, and he's a little scared of her, so he's probably relieved to see her go. Plus, he's the likely candidate to replace her, so it means a promotion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Better benefits.
Mm-hmm. We guess. More waffle parties.
He's going to move in next door to Mark.
Yeah, the position comes with the house next to Mark.
It is Lumen housing, so that's awkward.
Hey, neighbor.
They run through the plan with Dylan again. And Irving, who typically abandons the mission, is like, yes, mission is priority. Because they can't get distracted once they're in their outie selves by taking in the details of their lives, right?
Yeah, they have to wake up and find someone they think they can trust and tell them everything before they get shut off.
Yep. And this is where Mark comes clean that he kept the book and he starts to read that, which I alluded to it on Wednesday, but I was like, some of those quotes are actually pretty decent that Rickon writes. And this is one of them. It's a good line. And then Dylan finishes it for him. Page 197 slaps.
Our job is to taste free air. Your so-called boss may own the clock that taunts you from the wall, but my friends, the hour is yours.
See, that's a good line, dude. Yeah, I'm just going to say it.
That's a pretty good line. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Page 197 does slap.
It's no camaraderie is short.
I told you there's a reason why Devin was marrying him or is married to him.
That's the first glimmer I've ever gotten, Andy.
Yeah. But that glimmer shines bright, my dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I love this. Irving, it's time to do the plan, right? Okay, kids, let's find out what's for dinner.
Ooh.
Oh, so good. What a baller.
Said the thing.
What a
said
baller.
The thing. My next line is...
Uh-oh.
My next line right after the let's find out what's for dinner is maybe it's each other, in quotes. Which is Helly saying, what if we have a spouse? Yeah. And then she's like, maybe it's each other, right?
That'd be a hoot.
But in back to back, that's a little strange seeming. She goes in the elevator and she comes back to kiss Mark.
Oh, it's so good.
I love that little
this line, in case we don't come back or in case we do. Because I want to do that again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. And we know that his wife's a floor down just in rest mode, and it's so weird.
Yeah.
So sad.
I love this kiss so much. I don't know. They did a good job. maybe it's just the way it was blocked or directed, but her like pushing back through the door as it's about to close, and like I don't know, they just did a good job.
Oh, it's so well done. And then Mark's there. He waits for his turn to go in the elevator, right? He's like kind of examining the lobby. While he does that, I didn't pick up anything there. Anything you guys want to say about that little snippet?
I'm just looking at the chairs.
We see Dylan G studying for how to enact overtime mode, and then Milchick comes to get him, but he's pretending to take a shit. I'll be right out.
It's a big one. Don't come in here.
I'm blowing it up. Outie Mark heads up the stairs. The stairs look creepy, and we see that they're getting ready for the Egan family gala. That must be tonight. They must be having it at the office. Welcome, friends of Lumen. Seth and Dylan are heading off to perpetuity, and then he makes it to his waffles. They're actually waffles.
The waffle party takes place in the Egan replica house.
Yes.
What a weird setting.
Darkly lit. There's just a plate of waffles and a glass of milk and a fucking wine glass stem.
I will say that those waffles looked hella good.
I disagree.
I've been craving waffles ever since then.
I love waffles.
Like, get me in a Waffle House? My God.
This isn't a euphemism. I love the actual waffles. I would prefer the orgy afterward as well. But here's the thing.
I want the orgy first.
Exactly.
You don't want it on a full stomach.
Okay, I have a couple questions about the waffle party.
Okay. Let's just talk about it.
Is he supposed to fuck them and then he leaves early? Because the strippers look surprised that he's leaving. Or is it just a show?
So this kind of leans into the whole, like, this is a cult, right? And
sure,
if you are so good at your job, your reward is to live vicariously as the founder, as Kier Egan. And so what you're doing is you put on the Kier Egan mask, and then these workers come out and they dance for you, and they're all supposed to be the four. Was it temperances?
The tempers.
So there's woe, frolic, dread, and malice. That's what they're supposed to represent. So it's him taming the tempers, and you tame them with your dick, I guess.
But so he is supposed to fuck them. That's my question.
I assume so. I think that's what's supposed to happen, because
you don't want to go waffles first. Then you want to go waffles second.
You need the syrup to pour on it. Yeah,
when you're trying to get down with the tempers.
I mean, unless I'm just going to lay there and take it, then I guess I can just eat the waffles.
Ooh, come here, Malice. I'm going to butter you up, and then I'm going to pour the syrup all over. Whoa, take it, sad boy. Yeah.
Second criticism. There's nowhere near enough milk there.
No, I agree.
That's a stack of what? 3 waffles? I can't take that down without more milk than that.
And I'm going to throw this out here. What if he ate because they have like 3 squared waffles that are stacked up, right? What if he eats the 3 and there's that message that says go sit on the founder's bed. But what if you eat through the 3 and you're like, I want some more waffles. Is there a little bell you can ring, and then like the jester comes out and
well, this isn't his first waffle party, right? It's like his 4th.
So he knows that there's not enough milk there.
That's not where I was going with this, but yes.
This is a question I wanted to ask you guys earlier, because I don't know for sure if Dylan has had a waffle party or if it's just like the thing that's eluded him, but has Mark had a waffle party? Because Mark has one of those cubes. Do you get a cube when you get a waffle party?
I think you just get a cube randomly. Because
I don't know, you can just request.
Because he said that's not a perk. That's just something they gave Mark, just to be clear.
Okay,
right?
But the waffle party is a perk. Okay,
but I think Dylan that's why his character is so horny, and that's why he is the only one of the 4 that actually works really hard and has all those finger traps and stuff. The little joke that in my head canon is that he's had like 4 of those, and like literally that's the whole reason for his existence is to have the sex.
100%, man.
Yeah.
That's the one perk that's worth working towards. You get to go fucking touch outies with some strange.
Which is
touch outies.
Which is why he would never ask for more waffles, because he's getting to the part he actually cares about. You know what I mean? I also love that one of them is a dude, and it's just like there's something for everybody there.
Yeah, just in case.
Or something for everybody for one person, if you really like to party. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that just leads into
I'd be bloated from those waffles, man. I would not be laying it down on the tempers.
You said you wanted extra milk. You'd be all gassy and shit.
Well, I don't want to have heartburn when I'm just getting my cheeks clapped by the goat guy. It's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, all cult leaders, when you find out more about them, they're usually like have all these rules, but then on the side they're fucking everybody, right? You know, that seems to be how all cult leaders.
That's what I
work.
do in my cult.
Yeah, the cult of
But
Kent.
I was upfront about it.
Yeah, you're like, well, I am gonna fuck you all. Praise be to me.
Praise be to me.
I just want to get something clear to everybody. You can stick around. I made up some stuff. It's kind of neat. There's a lot of lore, better than data.
There's punch and pie in the back.
But I will be fucking you. Today. I'm not even going to ease you into it.
While we're kind of vaguely on the subject of the four tempers, Eric and I were having this discussion about the four tempers, and we were wondering, like, do you think the four main innies represent the four tempers as well?
Lay it on me. Remind me of the tempers.
So, like, Mark would be woe because
Sad boy.
because he's a sad boy outside.
Sure.
Dread would be Irving because he's painting that black,
The
dreadful
goo.
looking goo, right?
Sure.
Frolic would be Dylan. We don't know much about Dylan's
He likes to party.
outie, but he seems like the kind of guy who's like about Frolic. And Helly, we don't know much about Helly's outie yet, but like Malice is the one, like she was the one, like I'm out, I'm gonna fucking kill my outie. Like,
100%. That's
yeah.
the most spot on is Helly's for Malice.
Yeah.
I think you're correct, sir.
I'm gonna give that one to Erica because she's the one that brought it up to me, and I thought it was a great pull.
I'm going to steal that and make it a TikTok.
Do
I'm
it.
pretty sure I made it up.
It was Andy. Let's be clear.
Why do you know so much about sex cults?
Why do I know so much?
Because like 3 times you were like, you know, as we all know, typically on Tuesdays, what we'll do or what they'll do in a sex cult.
Don't you ever watch those documentaries and stuff? Like, did you watch
Yeah.
the Nexium documentary?
I did not.
Oh, it's fucking gnarly,
I
man.
don't like that stuff.
Yeah, every documentary I've ever watched about a cult, it's always like, oh yeah, they're fucking. The cult leader
I
was having
get
sex with everybody.
It's not cool, but I get it.
I've seen like 3 Jonestown documentaries. It's just so fucking fascinating.
That's why I think the voice in Dune is so dangerous because I know human nature.
I don't remember. Oh, that voice. I'm sorry. I thought for some reason I thought you were talking about a narrator. I was like, what are we doing here?
No, the capital V voice.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, anyway. Not saying I would do that, just saying people do because they're weird. Just to be clear. But yeah, so he gets to the waffles. That's all we got to there. Cobel is cussing Natalie out in her car, cussing up a storm. You fuck her goddamn soul.
Filth and fire until she dies.
Dylan crushed those waffles. Now, and the plate reads, "Go now to the founder's bed." So he's about to bed sit. Irving would be appalled.
And there's a whip there too.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Like
There's a whip?
it's one of those. Oh, I think you call it a whip. What's the thing where it's kind of like a whip, but it has like a bunch of different tails?
9 tails.
Cat of nine.
It was a cat of 9 tails. And what are written on the ends of all these 9 tails?
The temperaments or the values.
The values. So vision, verve, wit, cheer, humility, benevolence, nimbleness, probity, and wiles.
He's definitely going to need nimbleness, and the waffles are going to, limit that.
Yeah,
He's about to be probating some ass.
yeah, he is.
Yeah. He puts the mask on, the Kier mask, and they do the sexy dance, right? Cobel arrives at home, and she starts ripping down that shrine of Kier that she has in her basement and freaking out. And during the sexy dance, Dylan slips out of the bed and goes to sneak to the security. He leaves the mask on the bed. And this is where I was confused. I was like, is it over? Or is he supposed to do the orgy?
Do you think that if he did leave early, do you think everyone else is like, well, while we're here?
Oh, yeah, they definitely started fucking each other.
Come here, goat man.
They might be severed people, and that's their only job, which is really
That's
creepy.
fucked up. Ooh, that's fucked up if that's the case. Ooh, I don't like that. Ugh. That's dark. That's fucking dark.
That's not cool.
Good old days for them.
It's like all they do is fuck. They just wake up like, oh my God.
It's always be fucking.
I mean, it's an honest job. You know what I mean? It's honest day's work.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
When Cobel's freaking out of her house, when she finally calms down, she's laying on the floor holding her mom's breathing tube. Like that's the thing. Like she holds that close. So there's something going on in her backstory that is deeply revolved around what happened with her mother.
And then somebody ding-dongs on the door while she's weeping, and it's Mark. And again, this writing is so good because there's like so much like drama to this, because you know that Mark's going to wake up at some point soon. His innie is going to take over. Ideally, you're assuming. But now he's hanging out with Miss Cobel. And it's like, oh, no. So he invites her to Devon's house. There's a party there. And she very awkwardly declines and then says, well, maybe I could drive my own car and say, in case I get scared or uncomfortable, I could leave. Yeah.
I love how she's so distraught and clearly having a really rough time. And Mark's like, okay. Weirdo.
See you later.
It's not he says something like, it's not a funeral. And then she just does one of her awkward, like laughing too much. Like that wasn't that funny moments.
We cut to Irv. He's there with his pup Radar. And then Mark arrives at Devon's house. So it's taken quite a while for Dylan to get to the security room. He's already driven all the way to Devon's house. And Rickon says that the reading starts in 8 minutes. Did you bring your book? I forgot, which we assume means the one he wrote. No, sorry, I forgot it on my bedside table, I think. It's a 15-minute drive.
Maybe you can borrow Rebecca's book, but I'll have to ask her for you or she'll get offended.
Yeah. And then he tells Devon that he's got a huge life change that he's pondering. He's going to tell her later. And I love how in movies and TV shows, people, when they say something like this, the person they're talking to is always like, oh, okay. In real life, it's an immediate, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody holds off on shit like that.
Yeah.
She's just like, okay, remind me later. Don't care at all.
Wrap it up, Mark. Let's go. Rickon's got to read his book.
But Selvig shows up right as Mark says that. Dylan makes it to the security room. Irv starts to paint again. He's doing another version of his dark elevator. And this is where we see that Dylan got a desky block thing, but of all of them. It's the reveal there. He starts flipping the switches, pulling the doodads, doing his thing. And Selvig / Cobel, an outie world, asks Mark what his big life change might be. Sorry to pry, but I heard you. And he's like, I was thinking about quitting Lumen. And Selvig says, do it, Mark. Get away from them.
Get away from those people.
Which is so interesting. By the way, this is neat. I don't think I caught this the first time. When he's going to the overtime mode, we see some of the other mode names. Lullaby, which I assume is where Miss Casey is in lullaby mode currently, if I had to guess. Maybe. And Beehive, I think, is like an attack mode.
There's also an open house mode, which I wonder if they you pause somebody, when they pause people in the Matrix, you can pause the severed people and give tours for senators and shit. Like, oh, this is the MDR, but you don't want them to see them or something like that. I don't know. Oh, I don't know what open. It could be a million things, but that's what I thought of immediately when I saw that one.
I think Beehive is definitely like an attack mode, which is weird. Maybe there's a military version of this.
Protect your queen.
It's crazy.
Or it's just
oh yeah, dude, the fucking military applications of Severed is nuts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you think which one's fuck mode that the Waffle Party guys are in, you think?
Laying it down mode?
Laying it down.
That might be open house. You know what I'm saying?
That could be open house. You're right. There's also, I can't remember if it was this episode. It might have been the last episode when Cobel was coming down the elevator and Mark and Helly were in there. But there was you could see a couple different floors on one of the screens, and one of the floors is just called The Machine. So I wonder, that's ominous sounding, right? So I wonder what that's going to be in future episodes.
Just The Machine.
It could just be the goat guy.
They're not ready.
But yeah, and then we see a brief flash of all some of the different employees, and one of them is Helly, and I think she's at that family gala. I think she's a member of Kier, maybe even maybe she's an Egan even. We don't know. We just don't know. But yeah, there we go. That's it. That's the end of the episode. We're going to talk about our favorite moments and the best performance of the episode right after another quick word from one of our sponsors.
That one. Hello, Stream Fiends, and a frosty welcome to the month of January. It's the start of a brand new year, and as we all set our resolutions and snuggle up to beat the chill, we want to take a moment to warm up our hearts by thanking the stars of our show, you, the listeners. Specifically, we want to give a super shout out to our super patrons who keep the heat on over here at the studio, and I much appreciate that because it's cold over here right now. So let's raise a hot cup of cocoa to our January heroes. Aubrey Carell, Daniel Pack, Nice Guy Eddie, Tulloon, Albus Stinkpot, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Jim X, Lady Trashley, Milady, Sean Myers, Just Liz Calabria, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, E. Scramo, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Bloff Pum, AK Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Big Butthorn, Jer Latanowicz, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Elbander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, Stanton Valentino, Trisha Bueller, Sun Loving Mortal, Suzanne Road, Jadinklage Morgoon, Kloop, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, Brenda, Aaron Armstrong, Kevin Strother, Ashley Powers, Thrift Creeper, Casey McCain, and of course, Enza. But again, thank you to all our supporters. Thank you for being our Winter Wonderland warriors. Your support makes every episode a snow-top peak we're thrilled to conquer. But enough cheese. Let's get back to the episode.
And we're back. It's time for Kier's 3 mandates, our top 3 favorite moments of the episode. Andy, start us off. What is your third favorite moment of episode 8?
My third favorite moment would be Gemma talking, Mark talking to Gemma, and
you're just full on calling her Gemma now.
Yeah. I mean, that's her name, right?
That's true.
But yeah, just the bits of her talking about like my life's been 107 hours long, and you know the best moment ever in my life was that day that I got to spend with you. Like, just I think with the dramatic irony of knowing that they are, you know, the long lost couple, just adds so much gravitas to that scene. And, you know, it's really heartfelt, and Mark's like interrupting her like, hey, you know, what can we do? You know, we're not part of people. We are people and stuff. It's just, it's dramatic irony at its best.
Yeah, that's my number 3 as well, actually. Because, I mean, especially after last episode, when you get the reveal that Gemma is Miss Casey, you're just, as an audience member, I'm chomping at the bit to get those two in the room together immediately, just because I want to look for more clues. Like, do they know each other? Like you said, Kit, Cobel is our like audience surrogate. We're kind of like watching this, like, do they? Will they? Won't they? I don't know.
That was Andy.
Oh, was that Andy? I'm sorry, Andy.
I was just going to let him have the credit, man. It's cool.
Andy also came up with the 4 tempers thing. But no, it's a really great scene, and just seeing these two characters and the way Miss Casey just sort of opens up to him is so sweet. The fact that she's like, you know, I've barely been alive really, and like my favorite time was the 8 hours I spent with you in the department, and it's really, really sweet, and you just feel so bad for that character, and you immediately like taking a character that was just a little strange and kind of a background character to immediately flip that switch, and now you're just like, oh no, Miss Casey, Gemma, we have to save her. Mm-hmm. It's really, really powerful stuff. It's my number 3 favorite moment. Kit, yours?
It's my number 3 as well. Everybody. I can't say why in any more eloquent way than the two of you together, so I will just let it sit there and just say I agree. Andy, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the Waffle Party. It's just fucking weird, and I love it. It's
maybe the closest we get to Eyes Wide Shut ever on this podcast, and that's sad, but at least
hey, don't say that, buddy. It'll happen one day.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Maybe the January poll can just be Eyes Wide Shut, Eyes Wide Shut, Eyes Wide Shut, or Eyes Wide Shut. Who wins?
That would be so funny.
I just love the scene because like every time you think you know what the show is, they throw another curveball at you. You know what I mean? Like, how deep does this fucking rabbit hole go? And they'll go pretty far. And yeah, it's fucking weird and awesome.
Mm-hmm. My number 2 is finally getting to see Outie Irving in the very beginning of the episode. Like, it just not at all something I would expect for that character from what we know of him as an innie. The fact that his dog's name is Radar. And so,
I mean, everything except the Motorhead, I would argue, is pretty what I would expect.
Well, I don't know. I don't expect him to be painting insane amounts of dreadful, scary HAL 9000.
He seems more like
you know?
a still life guy, but yeah.
Right. But it's really, really cool. And also it confirms that the stuff that Miss Casey is saying to people, like your outie is kind, like true, I guess, because he loves the sound of radar as his dog. It just, maybe it's one of those like from a certain point of view type things. Which is, again, I really want a scene where Mark can tell the difference between a plain rock and a beautiful one. Like I need to have that scene for sure. But the fact that he has like, he's wearing blue jeans and they're just covered in paint and and he's like, listen to Motorhead. Like what a surprising choice for that guy. But he that's my number 2. It really just kind of threw me for a loop and I loved it.
My number 2 is Irving standing at the painting. I'm going to choose that, where he smashes the egg in the book. I think that's one of the biggest like character turning points that we've gotten. And we've gotten quite a few of them, but for Irv, we know what a sacrilege that is. But he has every reason in the world to now doubt that specific passage in that book. And I love that also that's where I put together that the reason he loves the painting throughout the office so much is because he's so into painting in real life. And that was just it's like a piece of great character work and writing in general that was really fun for me to experience. So just a powerful moment. Love John Turturro. That's my number 2. Andy, your favorite moment of episode 8?
The kiss between Mark and Helly. I just thought it was so sweet, so well done, and just great writing. In case we don't make it back, or in case we do, like it's just good shit. And
is that wrong? I don't want to be right if it is.
I'm sitting there like straight up Miss Cobel sitting forward like, well, they won't that. Well, they did. You know what I mean? I just loved it.
Steve?
I wish I could give my number 1 to like the entire last 5 minutes of the episode where they're all going out in the world.
We make up the rules here.
I like the moment that Irving turns around the elevator and says like, let's find out what's for dinner, kids, to the rest of the episode. I wish I could give just that my number 1 because it's just so good all the way through from that moment on. Like I was on the edge of my seat. Everything was hitting on all cylinders. I guess I'll also put the kiss on there because I love a good romance. Yeah, let's get it in there.
Everybody.
Everybody.
By the way, if we're just making up rules now, as Andy suggests that we can do, this is now a sex cult, and I'm going to fuck you.
Praise be to you.
Thank you, Steve. Steve joined that cult immediately.
Praise be to you.
Anyway, go on, Steve.
Oh, that's basically it. Yeah, great scene. What about you? You tell me about why do you like the kiss, Kit?
Well, like Andy said, it's such a sweet, tender moment. Britt Lauer does such a good job, and Adam Scott is a genius, but he's like this sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I don't mean it that way. But like he's really good in relation to other people for the most part. I think that he like does a great job of making the other person look even better just by being there to bounce off of and receive things. You know what I mean?
He's a good hand.
He is. But also, for the reason I said earlier, like it's tea because like that there's no happy ending to this because we don't know what Helly's real life is like other than that she's a terrible person. And we know that Mark has a wife who he's going to need to reunite with or the show will be awful. The show will be so mean if he loses Gemma again. You know what I mean? So it's like, how's this can't end well. I would really like to see most of them reintegrate, and I would like to see Helly somehow just any version just take over completely. We don't even want a reintegration there. You know what I mean? We just want outie Helly to die.
Oh damn. Jesus.
She's terrible. She's the only one that we know is actively like, fuck you. You're not a person.
Yeah.
I don't care what's happening. She knew she hung herself. You can't hide that. And she was like, deal with it. You know what I mean?
Well, she could be operating under circumstances we don't know about yet.
She's at the gala. She's bad. She's bad news.
Hey, innocent until proven guilty, Kit Laser.
Not in the court of laser.
Is that the name of the cult?
Yeah, I like it.
The court of laser.
Let me know if you want to join. Email streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Yeah, I just think that that's a huge part of it for me. It's like this is such a tragic love story, like that we know can't work, but it's so beautiful. They're so good together. And it's right after the scene of Miss Casey / Gemma that we got, where that was so sweet. I don't know. It's just so interesting. It's so juicy. I love it so much. Those are our 3 favorite moments, our Kier's 3 mandates. Now it's time for our Waffle Party recipient nominations. Andy, to whom are you gifting the Waffle Party?
It's Britt
You
Lauer.
can choose anyone but Dylan.
Britt Lauer, just because I love her. Just in that, the little sequences that we get, and especially that heartfelt kiss there at the end. She does it for me in all the right ways.
Awesome. Steve?
I'm giving it to Patricia Arquette again. Miss Cobel.
You slapped me
Cobel.
across the face with that big old schlong when you said,
Bam.
I'm just going to give it to her twice.
Fire and filth upon you, Kit Laser.
Goddamn, fuck
Until
your
you
goddamn
fucking
soul.
die.
Yeah, like she's
Dude, that's
all
some Evil Dead shit, man.
yeah.
Fuck your soul.
The way she's screaming that too is just like it kind of in a way reminds me of a certain actor screaming during a red wedding. I don't want to spoil too much of the red wedding, but that like pain, like like that, like the way she's just screaming that reminds me of that performance. And like she's so pained, and this literally is like her entire world collapsing, and she's at a point where she's lost faith. She's ripping down all of her stuff on the walls that she has in the basement. But before that, even she like when she's trying to big dog Natalie, or when she's like all like, oh, I'm like, it's such a weird, strange character. But Patricia Arquette, I think, is nailing it in the sense like, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird performance, but like you really feel that there's some emotion behind this odd and strange character, and she never portrays it in a way that's at odds with how odd and strange that character is, if that makes sense. And the fact that she like hugged Mark at the end and was like, get away from them, Mark, get as far away as you can, is just kind of like, oh my God, what is happening? She's just so fascinating, and Patricia Arquette is incredible as Cobel. Kit, what's your Waffle Party recipient?
I agree. I am enamored with Britt Lauer, but I think I'm going to also give it to Patricia Arquette. She does a lot in this specific episode, and she deserves her Waffle Party. Damn it! But I was close to giving it to Goatman.
Goatman.
By the way, I mean the naked one with the hat with the mask, not the guy feeding the baby goats.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Do you think
not ready
Cobel
yet.
would enjoy a waffle party? Like, do you think she would put on the the Egan mask and
Yeah.
I'm gonna tame these tempers?
Yes.
Here I go. I got the 9.
If I
principles.
worked there, if I was like Milchick and I was middle management, I'd be like, hey, do we get those ever? Like, what do I got to do? You know what I mean?
Who do they wake up to clean the waffle party after it's done? I want to know what poor staffs have to deal with that mess.
Some janitor in there buffing the syrup and cum out of the floors.
Oh man, they stained the founder's bed.
He cleans the nudie booth.
Yeah. I don't know,
Or
man.
like when people go, like if another department like an Irving went to the perpetuity wing like the day after, they go into the founder's room, like it smells weird in here.
It
smells
sticky.
like maple syrup and sex in here.
And a goat?
That's just why. That's what Kier's house smelled like. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, that's fascinating. But yeah, I'm excited because again, I don't remember at all what's going to happen in episode 9. So I'm on the edge of my seat, guys, even though I've seen it before. We're getting so close to season 2. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Stay tuned. That's all the time we have for right now, though. We've got to go return some videotapes. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Streaming Things. Streaming Severance.
Happy streaming. Happy streaming. Happy streaming.
I love you.
I
I
love
almost
you.
said this was Severance Things. But now we must away.
Let's fly away, guys.
Why am I doing like a blowjob stance? Now we must away.
Get that fucking waffle party, man.